I wanted to come on and it's been 2 weeks since our mom was taken, and I just wanted to come on and say that
Savannah Guthrie, 54, shocked the world when she spoke about the mysterious masked man, the intruder who forever changed her family's life. Surveillance footage shows a shadowy figure, face hidden, entering her mother's home in Tucson, Arizona, leaving investigators and the nation puzzled. While no one knows his real identity, Savannah's heartfelt revelations shed new light on the investigation and her personal ordeal. Tonight, we dive into the chilling story of suspense, heartbreak, and relentless pursuit of justice. The untold story of Savannah Guthrie and the masked man. The night of January 31st in Tucson, Arizona was quiet, almost unnaturally so. Inside her home, Nancy Guthrie, mother of Savannah Guthrie, 54, was settling in for the evening. But what should have been a peaceful night would soon become a chilling nightmare. A masked intruder appeared at her doorstep, captured by surveillance footage that would later captivate the nation. With his face concealed in a backpack slung over his shoulder, the figure moved with calculated precision, leaving almost no trace behind except for fear, confusion, and a desperate need for answers. When Savannah Guthrie learned of her mother's disappearance, the composed television anchor became a daughter caught in an unimaginable ordeal. Her world of headlines and interviews suddenly turned personal. Calls were made, authorities were alerted, and the search for answers began. Law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, combed the neighborhood, scouring for clues in what quickly became a high-profile investigation. Every detail mattered. Footprints in the dirt, a backpack left behind, and the faint outline of a figure on security footage. Savannah spoke publicly about the ordeal, not as a reporter delivering the news, but as a daughter pleading for justice. Her emotional appeals captured the hearts of viewers nationwide, inspiring tips from citizens hoping to aid the investigation. Yet, despite the flood of information, the masked figure remained unidentified, a ghost haunting the streets of Tucson and the headlines of the world. Investigators meticulously analyzed the surveillance footage. Every movement, every pause, every glance of the intruder was studied to piece together his intentions and possible identity. Forensic teams examined the scene for traces of DNA, fibers, or fingerprints, seeking the faintest clue that could crack the case. Each small lead offered hope, but the masked figure's careful planning left authorities with more questions than answers. Throughout the ordeal, Savannah Guthrie became the public face of determination and grief. Interviews with neighbors and family revealed her relentless pursuit of truth. She described not just fear and heartbreak, but also a deep hope that the person responsible would be found and held accountable. For the public, the story blurred the line between news and personal drama, transforming a real-life investigation into a suspenseful, almost cinematic narrative. As days passed, the masked figure became more than a suspect. He became a symbol of uncertainty and fear. And for Savannah, the journey was just beginning, a journey defined by resilience, courage, and a daughter's unwavering determination to uncover the truth. No matter how long it would take. In the days following Nancy Guthrie's disappearance, the investigation intensified. Authorities meticulously examined every piece of evidence left behind by the elusive masked man. Surveillance footage, once the only tangible clue, was analyzed frame by frame. Investigators noted subtle details, the precise angle of the intruder's movements, the type of shoes he wore, and the size and style of the backpack slung across his shoulders. Every small clue offered a potential breakthrough, yet the mystery remained, frustrating both law enforcement and the public. Forensic teams worked tirelessly. Gloves, discarded objects, and even traces of fibers were collected from the scene and nearby areas. DNA evidence became a key focus. When forensic scientists recovered a glove containing potential DNA, excitement surged within the investigation team. Could this finally reveal the identity of the masked man? Experts proceeded cautiously, knowing that one false lead could derail months of painstaking work. The DNA would need to be tested, compared to existing databases, and verified. Each stage of the process was deliberate, slow, and shrouded in secrecy. Meanwhile, Savannah Guthrie, 54, remained a steadfast presence in the media. She appeared in interviews not just to ask for tips, but to humanize the story. Her calm, authoritative voice contrasted sharply with the fear and uncertainty surrounding her family's ordeal. She urged anyone with information to come forward, emphasizing that even the smallest tip could make a difference. Public interest surged as millions followed every development, creating a wave of awareness that amplified the investigation beyond local authorities. The tension in Tucson grew palpable. Neighbors reported suspicious activity, sightings, and even false leads, all adding layers of complexity to the case. Law enforcement had to separate fact from fiction while maintaining the integrity of the investigation. Analysts examined patterns, timelines, and potential escape routes, building profiles of the masked intruder that remained incomplete yet increasingly detailed. Every move of the masked man was scrutinized for insight into his planning, motivations, and possible next steps. Despite the mounting pressure, investigators refused to reveal any identities. Every lead was treated with extreme caution. Savannah Guthrie's public statements were measured, conveying heartbreak without speculation. Her approach highlighted the human cost of the crime, reminding viewers that behind the suspenseful headlines was a family desperate for closure. The masked figure, still unknown, had become more than a criminal suspect. He had become a symbol of uncertainty, fear, and the urgent need for answers that stretched far beyond Tucson. By the end of this phase of the investigation, authorities had compiled a wealth of forensic data, but no conclusive identification. DNA results, glove analysis, and surveillance examination had narrowed possibilities. Yet the masked intruder's identity remained hidden. The story of Savannah Guthrie and the masked man was evolving. A chilling narrative of suspense, persistence, and the relentless pursuit of justice that gripped a nation, eager to know the truth. As news of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance and the masked man spread, public attention skyrocketed. Social media exploded with theories, tips, and speculation. Thousands of viewers watched the grainy surveillance footage, scrutinizing every movement of the masked figure. Hashtags trended, news segments ran continuous updates, and ordinary citizens felt a connection to a story that was mystery, heartbreak. For many, it wasn't just another headline, it was a real-life thriller unfolding in front of the nation's eyes. Through it all, Savannah Guthrie, 54, remained composed yet visibly strained. Interviews revealed the emotional toll of her mother's disappearance, showing a side of the television personality rarely seen on screen. Her voice, usually calm and authoritative, occasionally trembled as she described sleepless nights, unanswered questions, and the gnawing uncertainty of not knowing her mother's fate. Savannah's public presence became a beacon, both for hope and for awareness, urging anyone with information to step forward. She emphasized that even the smallest clue could change everything, a plea that humanized the story amid the swirling suspense. Law enforcement continued their methodical work. Investigators coordinated with local, state, and federal agencies, compiling tips from the public and analyzing forensic evidence. Each piece of information was scrutinized. Unusual sightings, discarded items, and even minor inconsistencies in reports could point toward a breakthrough. Despite the flood of leads, the masked man remained elusive, frustrating authorities and keeping the story suspenseful. The masked figure had become more than a suspect. He was a symbol of fear, mystery, and the urgency for justice. Meanwhile, the media coverage heightened the drama. National networks highlighted Savannah Guthrie's emotional appeals, and commentary segments dissected every development, keeping the public engaged. True crime podcasts dedicated entire episodes to the case. Theorists debated motives, and journalists examined every forensic update. The tension between verified facts and speculation created an almost cinematic narrative. Each broadcast, each article, and each online discussion amplified the suspense surrounding the elusive masked intruder. Behind the cameras, Savannah grappled with personal grief and public scrutiny. She shared that every unanswered question weighed heavily, yet she refused to succumb to despair. Friends and colleagues noted her resilience, describing a woman balancing heartbreak with determination. The personal and the public intertwined, creating a story that transcended headlines, a narrative that combined mystery, suspense, and human emotion in a way few had witnessed before. As weeks turned into months, the masked figure's anonymity remained intact. The FBI and local police continued to pursue leads quietly, testing forensic evidence and tracking tips, all while maintaining strict confidentiality to preserve the integrity of the investigation. For the public, the lack of identity intensified intrigue. For Savannah Guthrie, it was a daily reminder of both hope and heartbreak, a relentless pursuit of justice that demanded courage, patience, and unwavering focus.